You walked into that coffee shop and immediately saw him. Designer watch catching the light. Italian leather shoes. The kind of guy who makes sure you notice. And you know what? You did notice. Everyone did. And that's exactly why he's about to lose everything. We're taught that wealth is a costume, that success is something you wear, drive, and display. The richer you become, the more visible you should be. It sounds logical, it feels right, but it's the most dangerous lie you could believe. Here's the brutal truth nobody wants to hear. Looking rich is the first step toward ruin, not eventually, not in some distant future, right now, today. The moment you start performing prosperity, you activate a predatory reflex in the world around you. You become a target. Think about it. When was the last time someone tried to sell you something? When was the last time someone asked you for money? When was the last time someone paid attention to you? Every single time, they were reading your appearance. They were scanning for signals. They were hunting. Machiavelli understood something most people never learn. He said, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But there's something even more powerful than fear. It's invisibility. It's the ability to move through the world so quietly, so unremarkably, that predators don't even know you exist. The man with the expensive watch? He's not powerful. He's broadcasting. He's saying, "Look here, notice me. I have resources." And the world hears that as an invitation. Type "invisible" in the comments if you're ready to stop performing. But before you do, ask yourself this. What's the one thing you buy specifically to impress other people? Just sit with that for a second. Because that one thing is costing you more than money. It's costing you power. Because here's what most people don't understand about social signals. They're not decorations, they're traps. And you're not setting them for others. You're setting them for yourself. Every brand you wear is a message. Every car you drive is a billboard. Every piece of jewelry, every vacation photo, every subtle flex. It's all data. And in a world of predators, data is a weapon pointed at your own chest. You get a promotion, you buy a nicer car. Now, everyone at work knows your salary range. You take a luxury vacation, you post the photos. No, everyone know you have discretionary income. You wear an expensive watch. Every con artist, every manipulator, every person with their hand out knows exactly how much pressure to apply. The cruel psychology here is that signals invite exploitation. They don't invite respect. They invite parasites. They invite lawyers with divorce papers. They invite kidnappers. They invite thieves. They invite people who see you as an ATM with a face. Machiavelli wrote, "It is well to appear merciful, faithful, humane, sincere, and religious, but you must be ready to show the opposite qualities when expedient." But he went further. He understood that the appearance of strength is often weaker than the reality of invisibility. Because while everyone's watching the man who looks powerful, the truly powerful man is building in the shadows. Here's the reframe. Stop buying the narrative that wealth is a performance. Stop treating your assets like achievements to announce. Because every announcement is a vulnerability. Every display is a map to your weakness. The machinery of real wealth is built in silence. It's built while you appear ordinary. It's built while predators are looking elsewhere. It's built in places no one can see. Now let's go deeper. Because concealment isn't just about protecting yourself from external threats. It's armor. It's psychological armor. And it functions in ways most people never consider. Imagine walking into a negotiation. The other person is already calculating. They're reading your watch, your shoes, your posture. They're making assumptions about how much money you have, how desperate you are, and how much pressure they can apply. This is where invisibility becomes a weapon. When you look poor, you shift the entire dynamic. Suddenly, they think they're negotiating from strength. They think they have leverage. And the moment someone believes they have power over you, they stop fighting as hard. They get sloppy. They reveal their strategy. They make mistakes. This isn't theory. This is behavioral reality. Underestimation is the greatest advantage in any interaction. When someone assumes you're weak, they show you their cards, they tell you what they want, they expose their vulnerabilities, and you, invisible, unremarkable, beneath their notice, suddenly have all the information. The camouflage works in relationships too. Think about the woman or man who always seems to attract parasites and gold diggers. What's the pattern? Visible wealth, visible status, visible success. Now think about the person who seems to filter people naturally, who builds genuine connections, who somehow ends up with loyal people around them. Often they're invisible, unremarkable, difficult to read. When you don't advertise, you filter. Only people who see your actual character stick around. Only people capable of genuine connection make the effort. Everyone else moves on to easier targets, people with bigger displays, more obvious value signals. This is camouflage's armor, and it requires a fundamental shift in how you see yourself. You stop needing external validation. You stop needing others to witness your success. You stop performing, and in that moment of stopping, something shifts. You become genuinely unreadable. You become genuinely powerful. Machiavelli said, "A wise ruler ought never to keep faith, when by doing so it would be against his interests." And the deeper principle here is this: never play by the rules of a game designed to expose you. Never signal in ways that make you vulnerable. Never perform for an audience of predators. The exact mental shift is this: instead of thinking, "How do I look successful?" start thinking, "How do I become successful without advertising it?" Instead of asking, "Will this impress people?" ask, "Will this make me a target?" Instead of seeking visible evidence of your worth, start building invisible evidence of your capability. You start dressing down, not because you can't afford better, but because expensive clothes are just billboards announcing a tax on your life. You drive an ordinary car, not because you can't buy a luxury vehicle, but because expensive cars are just permission slips for thieves and lawyers. You don't post vacation photos, not because you don't travel, but because FOMO marketing is a system designed to make you jealous of your own life while making you visible to predators. This is behavioral camouflage. And it works because it's true. You're not pretending to be poor. You're actually becoming more economical. You're choosing substance over signal. And that's not an act. That's power. But here's where most people fail at invisibility. They can change their appearance. They can wear ordinary clothes. They can drive an ordinary car. But they can't hide their appetite. And that's where everything falls apart. Because desire is visible. Hunger is visible. Desperation is visible. You can wear whatever clothes you want, but if you're desperate to close a deal, the other person smells it. If you're hungry for approval, it radiates off you. If you want something badly, your body language betrays you. And the moment someone sees your hunger, you've lost all power. Starving the appetite is the next level of strategic restraint. It's not just about what you display, it's about what you actually want. And it starts with a brutal truth. Most of what you think you want because you're hungry. You see something and you want it immediately. You see someone with status and you want to be near them. You see a lifestyle and you want to live it. You're constantly in a state of wanting. And that perpetual hunger makes you controllable. It makes you predictable. It makes you weak. Machiavelli understood this. He said, "Whoever desires constant success must change his conduct with the times." But the deeper mastery is understanding that by controlling your own desires, you make yourself immune to manipulation. You become the only person in the room who can't be motivated through wanting. Here's how this works in practice. You're in a negotiation. The other person offers you something. Your first instinct is usually to want it, to grab for it. But the powerful move, the invisible move, is to not react, to sit with it, to let them see that you don't need this, that you can walk away. This is the power of delayed gratification, but it's not about delayed gratification for its own sake. It's about using delayed gratification as a psychological weapon. It's about making other people doubt their leverage over you. You build this through discipline routines. You practice not reacting. You practice wanting something and then walking away. You practice sitting with discomfort. You practice saying no to things you actually want, just so your nervous system understands that you're in control of your appetites, not the other way around. This extends into every area of your life. You're hungry, but you wait. You want to spend, but you don't. You want to brag, but you stay silent. You want to show someone what you've built, but you keep it private. Every time you deny an impulse, you're building control, and control is power. The person who can sit in a room full of expensive things without wanting them owns the room. The person who can turn down an attractive opportunity because it doesn't align with their system owns their future. The person who has destroyed their appetite for approval owns their own mind. And this connects to something most people completely misunderstand about wealth. Wealth isn't about accumulation. It's not even about money. Wealth is systems. It's invisible infrastructure. It's the machinery that runs while you sleep. Think about the wealthy people you actually know, not the ones performing wealth, but the ones who are genuinely wealthy. What's the pattern? They're building quiet machines. They're building things that generate value without their direct involvement. They're creating systems that work without them. And they're doing it all invisibly. Machiavelli wrote, "The greatest deception men suffer is from their own opinions." And the greatest deception about wealth is thinking that wealth is what you own, when wealth is actually what owns you if it requires your presence to maintain it. Real wealth is passive income. Real wealth is intellectual property. Real wealth is systems that generate cash while you're somewhere else entirely. Real wealth is business models that work without you. Real wealth is equity in things that compound. Real wealth is knowledge that cannot be taken away. And here's what's crucial. The more opaque your ownership is, the more protected your systems are. If nobody knows what you own, nobody can target it. If nobody knows how your money flows, nobody can intercept it. If nobody knows what generates your income, nobody can compete with you or take it from you. You don't need to look rich. You need to own rich systems. You don't need a display of wealth. You need infrastructure. You don't need to broadcast your prosperity. You need invisibility to protect your machinery. This is why the wealthiest people often look like they have almost nothing, because they understand that visibility is a cost. Every visible asset is a tax. Every visible system is a target. Every visible flow of money is an invitation for predators. You could build a visible business and employ 50 people and have everyone know exactly how profitable you are. Or you could build invisible systems, investments, intellectual property, strategic partnerships, things that generate the same income without anyone knowing the source. One makes you a target for lawsuits, employees, taxes, and manipulation. The other makes you untouchable. Comment system if you're ready to build instead of flex. And while you're thinking about that, what's one system you could start building this week? Not a visible business, a quiet machine. Because building systems requires a different kind of thinking. It requires you to understand that most of the real power in the world is completely invisible. It's in structures, it's in relationships, it's information. It's in the way things connect beneath the surface. And this leads us directly into something most people get catastrophically wrong: negotiation. Because negotiation isn't about what you say, it's about what you listen to, and it's about using underestimation as your greatest weapon. Here's the predator's playbook. When you walk into a negotiation looking weak, invisible, ordinary, and unremarkable, the other person feels strong. They feel in control. And when someone feels in control, they get confident. And when they get confident, they talk. They reveal their strategy. They tell you what they actually want. They tell you their bottom line. They tell you everything you need to know to win. Think about any successful negotiation you've ever witnessed. The winner wasn't the one who looked most powerful. The winner was usually the one who asked the right questions and then shut up and listened. Machiavelli understood this. He said, "Men in general judge more from appearances than from reality. All men have eyes, but few have the gift of penetration." The other person is judging you from appearances. They're seeing someone ordinary, someone weak, someone they can push around. And in that judgment, they're dropping their guard. The exact posture to adopt is this. In meetings, in relationships, in any negotiation, you present as accommodating but unreactive. You don't fight. You don't push back hard. You don't make demands. Instead, you ask questions. You listen. You let the other person talk until they've told you everything. You appear harmless. You appear uncertain. You appear you be convinced. And while they're talking, while they're revealing, while they're assuming they have the advantage, you're mapping their entire strategy. You're identifying their weak points. You're finding their true bottom line. You're discovering what they actually care about versus what they're pretending to care about. Then, only then, when you have complete information, you move. And by that point, you're not negotiating. You're executing. You're not trying to convince them. You're presenting them with a solution they can't refuse because you've already seen exactly what they need. This is turning underestimation into a decisive advantage. This is how the invisible player wins while the visible player is still wondering what happened. But here's what most people don't think about. This strategy doesn't just work in business. It works in every human interaction. And that's where it becomes genuinely powerful and genuinely dangerous if you use it wrong. Because when you really master invisibility, when you really understand how to read people while remaining unread, you start filtering. You start separating the genuine people from the parasites. You start identifying who deserves access to you and who doesn't. And that's when things get strategic. Most people reverse this. They broadcast themselves to everyone. They let the snakes get close. They give information to people who'll use it against them. They build loyalty with people who are incapable of genuine loyalty. And then they wonder why they're surrounded by manipulation and betrayal. The powerful move is creating a filter. Looking poor, being invisible, being unremarkable, and being difficult to read naturally. The people who stick around aren't there for your status. They're not there because they're impressed by your display. They're there because they see something genuine in you. They're there because they've decided you're worth their time for real reasons. Machiavelli wrote, "A prince must know how to use the beast and the man." And one interpretation of that is understanding which people are beasts and which are humans. Which relationships are genuine and which are transactions. Which people deserve access to your inner circle and which should stay outside. When you look poor people and rich people alike, stop circling for external reasons. The gold diggers leave, the status seekers leave, the people trying to use you leave. And what remains? Real relationships, genuine connections, people who actually value you. This is the social filter. And it's invaluable. Because the quality of your life isn't determined by the quantity of people around you. It's determined by the quality of people you've allowed close. It's determined by the people you've kept versus the people you've cut. And this extends into how you raise the next generation. If you have children, they're watching everything you do. They're absorbing every value you display. And if you teach them that wealth is about spectacle, you're setting them up for a lifetime of weakness. You're teaching them that appearance matters more than substance. You're teaching them to be hunters for status instead of builders of systems. But if you teach them that wealth is quiet, that power is invisible, that the goal is to build machinery rather than display, you're handing them something invaluable. You're handing them a foundation for genuine power. You're teaching them to filter people. You're teaching them to think long-term. You're teaching them that systems matter more than symbols. The legacy you leave isn't the amount of money you leave them, it's the values you embedded in them. It's whether they understand that invisibility is strength, or whether they'll spend their entire lives performing for an audience that doesn't actually respect them. So here's where we arrive at the final truth, the one that transforms everything, the climax, the moment when you stop talking about invisibility as a tactic and start understanding it as the highest expression of power. Ultimate power isn't the ability to be seen. Ultimate power is the choice to stay unseen. It's not the ability to have everyone know what you have. It's the ability to have everything without anyone knowing. It's not the ability to dominate through visibility. It's the ability to shape reality while remaining invisible. This is the Machiavellian paradox. The most powerful people in the world are often the ones no one's watching. The people with the real wealth are the ones who look ordinary. The people with actual leverage are the ones everyone underestimates. The people with genuine power are the ones who've chosen invisibility. Becoming untouchable means understanding this completely. It means transforming how you see yourself, how you move through the world, and what you actually value. It means killing the need for external validation. It means destroying the addiction to approval. It means cutting away every habit that makes you visible to predators. Here's the transformation. You start from a place of performing, always aware of how you look, what people think and whether you're being seen. You start from a place of hunger and desperation and needing to prove something. You start from a place of vulnerability where every visible asset is a target, and you transform into someone invisible, someone with quiet systems, someone who doesn't perform, someone whose power is so concentrated that it doesn't need to be displayed, someone who's genuinely untouchable because there's nothing exposed to touch. You become a ghost, not in the sense that you don't exist, but in the sense that you move through the world and leave no footprints. You build without announcing, you accumulate without displaying, you develop without performing. And the strange thing that happens? The world stops hunting you. Predators move on to easier targets, and you're suddenly free to actually build something real. Type "I'll be the ghost" in the comments if you're ready to accept this challenge. But don't just type it, act on it. Because the final step is commitment. It's the one habit you're going to kill this month. Is it the need to post your wins? Is it the constant checking to see if people noticed? Is it the shopping for things that impress rather than serve? Is it the performance that runs in the background of every interaction? Name it, identify it, kill it, and then start building. Start watching how people respond when you stop performing. Start feeling the freedom of invisibility. Start experiencing what it's actually like to be powerful without anyone needing to know you're powerful. That's the strategy. That's the path. That's the Machiavellian truth hiding in plain sight. Look poor, stay rich, become untouchable, and then, only then, will you actually understand what wealth means. Not appearance, infrastructure, not display, machinery, not performance, power. The choice is yours. Keep performing, keep displaying, keep making yourself visible to every predator in the world. Or become a ghost. Build systems. Create infrastructure that works while you sleep. Filter your relationships. Protect your legacy. Choose invisibility. That's where real power lives. In the shadows. In the silence. In the things no one can see but everyone can feel. If this opened your eyes, if you're ready to stop performing and start building, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you're genuinely ready to transform, if you're ready to become invisible, turn on notifications so you don't miss the next principles of real power. You're either a target or a ghost. Choose now.